Hey everybody, it's Mr. Baker again. We are in our second lesson and last lesson of Unit 1 for biology and honors biology. All right, today we're going to introduce this slide to you. All right, this slide is at the beginning of all my other notes, and it's going to tell you what is expected of you in this set of lessons. All right, so these I call learning goals. Other teachers might call them learning targets. All right, but you're going to see what Mr. Baker wants you to be able to do. All right, they're all written fairly similar to this. All right, so the first one, the student will become familiar with microscopes and will practice observing cells and organisms. So we're going to do a little bit of microscope work. All right, some of you have had some microscope experience in the past, some of you haven't. We're just going to make sure everybody's on the same page before we get started delving a little bit deeper into cells. All right, this is going to be some very basics though. I call it microscope 101. All right. Secondly, the student will be able to describe what characterizes something as living and will analyze a specific object, whether it is living or not. So, this tells you you need to know what makes something alive or not alive, and if Mr. Baker gives you something, you need to be able to tell me if it's alive or not, and you know that hidden thing in there that you know teachers all do, why, right? I'm going to ask you to explain it. So, you would explain it by telling me the first half here. It's characteristics. Does it fit what's alive or what's not? All right, so this wasn't in the last section, I know, but I wanted to make sure you had it, so I added it to this one. All right, bios is Greek, first half of the word biology, right? It means life. Logos, study of, it's that second half, ology, right? L-O-G-Y. We smash those together like a lot of things we do in the English language, and we get the word biology. Right, so I do want you to have that in your notes. I said it during the last lecture, but I didn't really write it down, so I put it here. All right, now that that's out of the way, all right, these are our attributes of life. This is the list that we're going to use. Some lists are a little longer. Some lists are a little smaller. This is the one I want you to know from my class. All right, we're going to talk through all of them. All right, we're going to use these again later in the year, but we're going to talk about them now to get started with our study of biology proper. All right, and you've already done a little bit of work on this in class as well. You've done some reading where this popped up. All right, so if something is alive, it has to have all of these things. If it's missing any of these things, it's dead or it's not alive. All right, those are two different things. Dead means it was once alive, right? You wouldn't call a rock dead because it was never alive, right? So first thing here, movement, right? Movement is going to be either the organism is able to move around or there's movement within the organism, right? Like a jellyfish doesn't move itself around, but it has movement inside of itself, right? And they're going to move mostly with ocean currents, right? Growth and development means that when it's born or made, it is different than the way it is in its adult life span. All right, so it grows, it gets bigger. Develop means it gets more complicated. Reproduction, it's able to make more of its species. That could be asexual, it could be sexual, it could be a few other things that we'll talk about later this year. Right, coming from pre-existing life. Right, one of the things we're going to learn next unit is the cell theory. Right, all living cells come from living cells. Everything comes from pre-existing life. It has to be born, cloned, made, something from that reproduction, right? Having similar chemical makeup is referring to carbon-based life, right? All life that we have ever encountered in our exploration of Earth and space has been based on the carbon atom as its central structure, and it has a lot of the same makeup across the board in organic life forms, right? Composed of cells, all living things are composed of cells. If it doesn't have cells in it, it's not alive, right? And then this word irritability, we're going to use it in science a little differently than other classes. In science, we're just talking about if it is stimulated, it responds. A stimulation can be as simple as poking it with a stick or giving it a little bit of electric shock or changing the pH of the liquid that it's in. All right, a stimuli can be a lot of different things. Irritability means that it responds to that. All right, requiring energy means that it needs some form of energy input to stay alive. Calories. right? Calories are a big one here. Maintains a high level of organization means that while some life can be very, very simple, single-celled bacterial, it still has a level of organization in it. We're going to talk about organelles and the things inside of cells next unit, so I don't want to go too in-depth right now. Right? And then faces death. If it is alive, it has to be able to die. Right? I know that sounds kind of like a cop-out thing, but if it never changes and it's always the same, we're not going to say it's alive the same way. Right? Even Jesus died on the cross, right? Right, so the way that we've been able to study these things, and I'm going to get my face out of the way so you can see one of these things better, is the microscope. Right? The first one in the top right is a simple light microscope because it really only has one lens. Then if you put that black cap on the eyepiece with a lens, if it's got a magnification on it, it becomes a complex microscope with multiple lenses. Right? So if there's only one lens, it can still be a microscope, but it's effectively a magnifying glass. Right? Complex means it has more than one lens. Right? Electron microscopes don't use light to see. They actually shoot electrons at something or through something in order to get a view of it. Transmission electron microscopes take effectively a picture, and they give us one result. A scanning electron microscope is going to take something that's closer to what we would think of as a video, right? And it's going to give us more detail, right? They're becoming more common, but we're definitely not at a point where we can buy one for our school, right? Electron microscopes usually live at universities, research centers, and complex manufacturing facilities, all right? I got to use one while I was at Otterbein University for a little bit. And theirs is in a basement, or at least it was in a basement, because it's so sensitive that people walking on the floor, right, or walking above you, on the floor above you, can make enough minute vibrations that it could cause problems. So it was deep underground in a specially built room for it. And it looked kind of similar to the one on screen. I could not get an exact picture of the one that they had. All right, these are the 12 things I want you to know for a microscope. This is pretty similar to the kind of microscopes we're going to use in class. I want you to try to sketch this and put it in your notes. If you're like, Mr. Baker, that is way too much art for me, crank up the brightness on your Chromebook, put a piece of paper over the monitor part, and trace it. All right, use it like a light screen. All right, you'll be able to trace through your paper and add these labels. Right? I want you to know all these things. We're going to talk about them more in class where I can point to them and we can actually look at our actual microscopes a little bit better. Many of you do have some experience with this. I know that we use some in our middle school, all right? But we're going to make sure everybody's at the same page. We're not going to use microscopes a huge amount, right? But we are going to get them out every once in a while, probably once a quarter or so. And I want you to be able to use them reliably, all right? So we talked about microscopes. We're going to talk about more about them in class. We're going to practice observing things in class, right? And we've talked about what characterizes something as living, right? We're going to practice doing that as well with a few objects. So you'll get some experience with that. Make sure you can describe things as having those characteristics or not having those characteristics, right? Again, just like last set of notes, I want you to give me 2 questions, right? Get this, make sure that you have an understanding of everything we covered in these notes. I know this one's a little shorter, less than 10 minutes, right? Expand on things. If it's something you're confused about, if it's something you want a little bit more information on, ask those questions. And I will see you in class.